Welcome to Education, Leadership, and Beyond, Surviving and Thriving. My name is Andrew Murata, host of the show, and it is show number 207. Good afternoon to you, wherever you are. We are live here on Facebook, proud member of the Education Podcast Network, as well as VoiceEd Radio Canada, and on iTunes. Wherever you are consuming podcasts, we are happy to have you, and thanks so much for tuning in. I do want to thank a new relationship. We have a new sponsor, and that is Particle. Here it is here, Particle. Amazing kind of face cream, men's products. I've been using them. My face taking care of me. I'm not getting any younger here, and got a deal here with Particle. There they are. Amazing stuff. You could just Google them and find them. And my discount code is AMAROTTA, AMAROTTA. Check them out. Their stuff is great. They just sent me some new stuff, some stuff for my hair, and their face cream is just incredible. They sent me a shampoo, some body wash, things like that. But this is Particle, and you can see their name up here in the top of the screen. But really, really good stuff, right? Sometimes you put on cream and it's like, this stuff is like magic. Definitely check them out. And my discount code is AMAROTTA. Number two, a shout out. My second book is released, Tales from the Hardwood. Many of you have reached out and gotten a copy. We are excited about this project, and you can check it out. If you want an autographed copy on my website, otherwise you can get it from Amazon. Tales from the Hardwood is out. All right, let's get rolling to show number 207. We are going to meet Dr. Kyle Palmer, Kansas City, Missouri, or Missouri, or however you say it. But Kyle is out there. He's the Director of Human Resources, Center School District, and we have a lot to talk about, a lot of leadership, a lot about PLC. And Kyle just got his book out here, and it's scrolling there on the bottom. Partnerships in a PLC. And again, it's scrolling on the bottom of the screen. We're going to meet Dr. Kyle Palmer in a moment. So I have some history with PLC. I am a fan of PLC. I'm a fan of Solution Tree. Dr. Rick DeFore and all the work he and his wife did in schools to bring collaboration alive, to bring real communication alive, right? Not just putting people in a room, but defining what it looks like and getting the important work done. Dr. Palmer did a lot of research, did his doctorate in that, and he does have a book out. But if you're in schools, right, and you're a school leader, you can't go wrong with PLC. They're just the kind of mindset there, right? It's not a one-time thing; it's an all-the-time thing. But just what PLC brings to the table in terms of professionals working together, I think is so important. I learned a lot from it. And if you don't know about it, this would be a great place to start, because we are going to talk to Dr. Palmer about that. And let's bring him in the show here, show number 207. Dr. Palmer, welcome to Education, Leadership, and Beyond.
Hey, how are you doing today? Excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you.
I could use some of that stuff for my hair, too, so you can shoot some of that stuff my way.
I've been using Rogaine a long time, Dr. Palmer, but I am going to try out their stuff. And I see you got some sunburn, so that might help you out a little bit too.
It'll help out.
Cool. Well, we appreciate you coming on. The Director of Human Resources, Center School District. Kyle, and we're going to get to know you over the show here, but tell us what's your role there? How did you land in Center, and a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I was a fourth grade teacher for 7 years, and in 2007, we moved to Kansas City area to be an elementary school principal at Lewis and Clark Elementary. Love that place. My kids went there. I still have a kid going there. So I had a great opportunity to be there for 10 years and do all that PLC work. And then in 2017, moved to Center to become the executive director of human resources. At that time, I was just looking for an opportunity to have a kind of a bigger impact on a district-wide position and impact others. And it's been a great 5 years of doing HR. But we're a small enough district where I get a chance to do a lot of leadership development, do a lot of our PLC work in partnership with academic services. So it's really been a great role for me.
Yeah, and you're doing some things there. Tell us about Center School District. Tell us about the culture there, and how was the year? You must be wrapping up for graduation here soon.
Yeah, actually, we have graduation tomorrow night.
Wow.
Center School District is an small urban school district on the south side of Kansas City, and that is Missouri. We're not the Kansas side. We're the Missouri side. I know there's some confusion about that out there. But we're about 2,600 students, so we're a smaller urban district. I describe ourselves as a small town in the big city. A great, family-oriented district. Like smaller districts, it's a little easier to get to know everybody. Our superintendent might show up in your classroom someday or just about any day. It's really a really great opportunity. I think a lot of districts, it's been a harder year coming out of COVID and everything, but I've been really, really impressed with the resiliency of our staff and the things that we've asked them to do the last couple of years. It's quite astonishing, and they've really responded every time we've asked them to do something. But I think seniors' last day was today, and graduation tomorrow night, and our last school day for our kids and as well as my own kids is next Friday, I think May 27th. So we'll be done here in about another week.
Beautiful. Kyle, I'm excited to hear about your PLC journey. You are an expert in this. We're going to get into your book in a little bit, but how did you come to meet PLC and what it's all about? And certainly it got your interest. So tell me about that journey.
Sure. Just like you, as you mentioned, when you think of PLC, you think of Rick and Becky DeFore. I remember still to this day when I was doing my master's classes at Drake University back in the early 2000s. Back when we had VHS cassette tapes. So one of our classes, the professor throws this VHS tape in the VCR, and I start listening to this guy talking about leadership and having teachers be leaders and collaborating with others and working on the results and making sure kids are learning, and everything he said is just like that makes perfect sense for how we should be operating in education. So as a teacher, I wasn't able to do as much with that, but I knew, I said to myself, the second I become a principal, that's going to be how I lead. And that's how I am anyway. I try to be very servant oriented, developing and leading others, having a lot of buy-in, a lot of voice and ownership from those. I never really see myself as like over others or dictating to others. I love the autonomy teachers have, but also within a clear system of how it operates, with pretty clear, kind of tight structures around how teachers can best get results for kids, but also some loose structures to give them some autonomy to make the decisions. Because our teachers are experts. They're doing it every day. They're in the classroom. They're phenomenal, and we need that voice and wisdom and experience in it as well. So when I started at Lewis and Clark in 2007, that's what we did.
And like that first faculty meeting, you just stood up and said, "We're going to become a PLC district. We're going to do this." How did you kind of roll it out?
It worked out well because at that time, the state of Missouri was also undertaking kind of a PLC initiative statewide. Yeah. So I came in at a really good time where those energies were kind of joined. The interesting thing is that after year one of the Missouri initiative, they kind of fizzled out. So it really was on our school to keep the PLC initiative going. So we had a guiding coalition established. They had already. I joined a great school. Lewis and Clark was already a phenomenal school. So all things kind of came together, and we just kind of took off from where we were. Just took small steps forward. Did some book studies, talked about PLC, and I think after a couple 3 years of me being there, everyone realized that this is what we're doing. We're not going to throw out new initiatives every year and then let them fade away and start something else again. And year 3, year 4 rolls around, and we're still moving forward with this continuous improvement model, it just took off, and our teachers owned it, and our kids thrived in it, and it was, I look back on those days, and I just absolutely love my time there and being able to lead PLC and at Lewis and Clark, and the results speak for themselves.
Tremendous. So nice to hear you speaking so positively about the places you've been, the place you are. You got so much into this that you kind of went through your doctorate in PLC leadership. Am I saying that right?
Yeah. So about 4 years in, I did my dissertation and my doctorate at Baker, and I did it on the study of the implementation gap, the knowing doing gap of PLCs within the Liberty School District. So that's kind of my passion as well. That's kind of how I think is we need to make sure people know what to do, and we need to make sure people are doing that, because I think there's so much lost in between there with either not doing the work or not doing it correctly or trying to do way too many things. We just keep it simple. Let's keep focused on PLC, and that's what we were able to do. But yeah, I did my research dissertation on the PLC knowing doing gap within Liberty at that time, and I was able to, is right there with what we were doing already. So it was a perfect tie-in.
So Kyle, if people don't know what PLC is, right, or maybe they're not an educator and they listen to the show, they're the and beyond part, right?
Yeah.
I would say, give me 3 highlights. What are the 3 biggest components that you would say are PLC?
I think it begins and ends with a focus on student learning. So all the decisions that we're going to make within our school are going to somehow relate back to what is best for students. And it's easy to say we're going to be student-centered and we're going to do things that are good for kids, but you really have to do it, whether it be the master schedule, whether it be, intervention plans for kids, whether it be, unwrapping the priority standards. We need to commit to the work that we know is going to help students. We're going to do that in a highly collaborative culture, because this work is way too hard to do by ourselves. And I think that's more true now than ever after a couple of years of the pandemic. But we're going to do this work. We're going to do this right work together in collaboration with our colleagues. And then the third thing I would say is that we have to get results. It's just like anything else. It's a results-oriented business. What we're doing, we have to ensure is helping our kids. And if it's not, we got to fix it. But using our results helps us become better teachers. It also makes sure that our kids are learning. And that's what we're all here for.
Yeah. And Kyle, you did it in your school, you got your doctorate in it, and now you're even taking more steps. You're leading, coaching people in it. You've written a book, and I'd ask you to share a little bit about your book and maybe some of the work you're doing now beyond your district in helping other leaders learn more about PLC.
Yeah, I've always tried to be a student of leadership. I know you mentioned earlier the Maxwell certification that I did, and I just love leadership, and I love trying to grow as a leader. And kind of my mission is to equip others to impact others in a positive way. So I've always tried to think through that lens of how to coach, how to support, how to help other people. Because when you get better, then you just have a more positive impact on those that you work with. But we were lucky through that work at Lewis and Clark. I had someone come in working with me, on some PLC stuff, and he's like, "Have you ever thought about, becoming a model PLC school?" And I don't know what you're even talking about. So we put in all of our data, and and we were selected as a model school for professional learning communities with Solution Tree. That was, I think, in 2014, and we did that for a few years, and that kind of led into doing some more consulting and some work with Solution Tree. I think my move to being HR kind of slowed that up a little bit, but kind of gradually gotten back into that world, and I just absolutely love it. I love traveling. I love helping other schools and school leaders, and being a principal right now, being in education is difficult right now. Being a teacher is hard right now. Being a principal, I think, is a really hard role right now. So I just love helping principals become better. So I'm actually going to be moving into more of a full-time role next year with Solution Tree. Traveling and doing, more consulting work and more coaching work, trying to impact, kids all across the country. And I'm excited for that. Plus I work with some districts around the area here, but I kind of keep going to this world of trying to help and coach and support others. That's kind of my strength zone and where I find my most passion. So I'm excited to be able to go in and do more of that work with others.
Awesome. And if you're watching live, if you're watching this on replay, Kyle is going to give away 2 books. Kyle, why don't you hold it up there and then share a little bit about the title? And I love it. Partnerships or parentships
Yeah.
in a PLC. You got the tree with the people on there. So we're going to give away a couple of these books. You can leave a comment with, something about PLC. What do you know about it? You have a question about it. But our first 2 people that do that, Kyle and or I, you contact us. He's going to give away 2 books. So tell me about the book. How did you come up with the title and really, what is the goal of the book there?
Sure. I had this idea in my mind for about 6 months, and whether it be when I was kind of all worlds kind of morphed together with my world as a teacher, my world as a principal, my world as an HR director. I just kept seeing teachers who are afraid afraid of parents, afraid of that relationship, unsure of how to build that relationship, a little bit intimidated at times. And I know that when I worked with first year teachers, one of their biggest fears was reaching out and having that connection with their families and communities outside of the school. So it just kept me thinking about, what if parents really knew, what teachers' worlds were like and what they were trying to do and the purpose of why they were trying to collaborate. And then it turned into, well, what if teachers knew, how to better connect with parents and understood, some more empathy around how difficult it is to be a parent and what that role looks like. And it kind of worked into this work of how can we help better support school, parent, communities and relationships, and more specifically, because PLC really is a focus on teachers working together for the betterment of students. Mm-hmm. But this work, parentships in a PLC, is bringing parents into that as well. So you kind of have this education triangle of students, parents, and teachers all working together, and getting that more collaboration that we can get. The research suggests and shows and that it's going to be better for our students. So that was the whole idea behind the work. And when March of 2020 hit, I didn't have any more excuses about time. And I thought if I could get something productive out of COVID, it was going to be writing my book. So I wrote a majority of it, that first year as we were kind of stuck at home and not able to do a whole lot. And just working with Solution Tree you just don't find anybody any better. I mean, Jeff Jones and everyone you meet and work with in Solution Tree is amazing. They gave me kind of a copy editor to help me work through everything. Amy Rubenstein and Claudia Wheatley. I mean, they're just amazing, amazing people. Tom Herc, who you may know is a really good mentor of mine, helped me kind of figure out things and work through things. So I'm very proud of the work. I could not imagine and did not imagine 2 years ago kind of where the state of things would be in 2022. And, we see this parent enragement right now in our schools when really it needs to be more about parent engagement. And not just involvement, but engagement. And there seems to be so much anxiety and frustration and anger and all of this. And we've essentially, because of our COVID protocols across the country and world, really, we've basically shut the doors to our parents and haven't allowed them in. So I think the book is coming at a phenomenal time, a great opportunity to spend some time this spring and summer, next school year, kind of getting back to how can we get parents to be it's their school too. It's how can we get them to be engaged, re-engaged. I got that idea from Eric Francis. I was talking to him one day. He's like, there's just this enragement and we need to get engagement. I'm like, that's beautiful. You just succinctly said what I've been trying to say real clearly. So I think it's coming at a great time. The first part of my book is really kind of the research behind the positive results from parents being involved and how to create a mission and a vision and some values and commitments with your parent community, how to make them a real active part of your school, not just this PTA group or PTO group that sits out there and you ask them for money, you ask them to do the carnival. This is really about authentically getting parents engaged in our schools. And
Yeah.
and then the second part of the book is all about strategy. So I offer about 20 to 24 strategies of how to get parents involved. And as I was doing the research and work for this book, that was like you got 3 or 4 of the same ideas from everybody I talked to, but there wasn't a whole lot more than that. So I really hope this book is as much a kind of a handbook or kind of a resource on some real easy, implementable ways to re-engage with our parents.
I'm choking.
So it's you can buy it through Amazon. You can get it on the Solution Tree website. So I'll give my shameless plug for the book Parentships and a PLC, forming and sustaining school-home relationships with families. You can get that on Amazon. You get it on solutiontree.com. But I'm very proud of the work, and I hope that most of all, I hope it benefits others.
And Kyle, it's not a shameless plug. Listen, you worked hard on that. You're looking to help people. It's getting the word out. And I wanted you on this podcast for a bunch of reasons, but you're looking to help parents. You're looking to help teachers build those relationships. And this is a great guide to do that. So definitely check that out. Kyle, let's talk a little bit about you. You're a leadership expert. How do you continue to learn? You talked about being a continual student. How do you continue to grow?
I try to read as much as I can, and it's harder when you're so busy. And I'm writing a book. I didn't read as much as I normally would like to, but right now I'm reading the Coach K book. I think my favorite books to read are like biographies of like very successful people. So the Bill Belichick book, the Mike Krzyzewski book, I love the Steve Jobs book, the John Wooden book. I mean, I just love getting into the minds of these phenomenal leaders who have had such a huge impact on our world, on our lives, and their industry, sport, whatever it may be. I've probably read 20 John Maxwell books. I remember when I was a high school senior, I read one of my first books I ever read was John Maxwell's book about leadership, the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. So I just have always been drawn to that, but it's so easy to do the podcasts, and I do the John Maxwell podcast and the Solution Tree podcast, and you're mobile, you got your phone, you're working out, it's easy to watch these short little videos or listen to as well. So it's just finding some time for yourself, because our lives are so busy. Just even if it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes a day, just to think, to reflect, just take some time to yourself. I think that's really important.
I heard a stat the other day talking about reading. They said if you read 10 pages a day, just 10 pages a day, that would be 80 200-page books or 10 minutes. Sorry. If you read 10 minutes a day, that would be 80 200-page books a year. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. How about Audible? Do you use Audible?
I don't use Audible. I still like having that book in my hands. I guess I'm still kind of a traditionalist when it comes to that, but I know it's you're right. I mean, that's how you grow yourself. As to really be able to grow others, you have to be able to grow yourself and raise your lid of leadership, so you can help raise others' lids of leadership. So if you're not able to take care of yourself and grow yourself, it's going to be harder to help grow others as well.
And you mentioned the books you're reading, a lot of coaches there. And I know you coached for a number of years. So now as a leader in your district, a speaker, and a coach yourself of leaders, what are some lessons that you've taken from your coaching time that you use now?
I think the most importantly is understanding players, understanding people, and what they bring to the table and how you can most utilize them for the success of the team. I think those are things you inherently learn by coaching, and you can apply all those things to being a principal, to being an executive director of HR, whatever it may be. It's understanding people, motivating people, being able to craft a strategy and get others in line with that to move them forward, to be able to influence others and get them to achieve things that they may not even know that they're achieving. I think are the biggest lessons I took from coaching. And, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I know the most about instruction or assessment or, standards or whatever it may be. I know a lot. I mean, I'm able to train and do all those things, but we also have great teachers who are involved in this work who can do that as well. I think I think I've always tried to go at it from the angle of how can I get others to best work together to utilize their talents and their skills by understanding people. And then I think it's just as simple as just caring about people. I think when you show that you're invested in others and you show that you're trying to improve the work and improve others, I think that's a great way to build leadership with people and build influence with people. And then when you're helping others get better, they're gonna try a lot harder for you. They're gonna work a lot harder for you, and I think that's where you can get a lot of positive outcomes.
Yeah, and this is Dr. Kyle Palmer, everyone. Dr. Palmer very generously is going to give away 2 books. If you leave a comment, a question about PLC, and a way to get in touch with you, Dr. Palmer or I will be in touch. You could do that in the comments, or you can reach out to us directly. Dr. Palmer, you're speaking, you're consulting, you're going to do some more of it next year. And I have a lot of leaders ask, like, hey, Andrew, how did you start speaking? Or how did you, what advice would you give to a school leader like yourself who wants to do more and wants to go speak, but they just don't know how to kind of go about doing that?
I think there's a lot of great opportunities. I think you just start off with your local associations, your state, your principals association. I mean, I think I started, I took a couple teams who were really doing the PLC process well. Took them to the PLC conference here in Missouri. I put in to start, to do a couple sessions on leadership at the Missouri State, Principals Association. You start there and you do it for a few years, and you notice that more and more people come every year to your sessions, which is really exciting. I think you just start applying to go to conferences. I know I had to go. You have to get out there and take risks. I mean, you had to go out and put out an application to become a model PLC school with Solution Tree, and we did. We had to. I went out and sought after getting some recognitions from the International Center for Leadership and Education. So we really kind of reimagined, and even though we were a highly successful school, we did a lot of great things with flexible spaces and alternative ways of learning and how to correctly use technology. And we became a model school with the ICLE, where I got to go present with some teachers in Nashville and Orlando and in Atlanta. So you keep growing, and I think you just kind of have to want to too. Don't worry about being perfect. I mean, I think my training and my being in front of people has improved a lot over the years. I think even when I started working with, being a presenter with Solution Tree, I had a lot of work to do. You understand it's more about others. It's more about being there for other people and helping other people, not just what message it is that you want to share. And when I kind of figured out to get people collaborating and moving around and talking more, and that I was there to help them, it really helped me become better. And you learn by doing. That's one of the main mantras with PLC is you learn by doing it. So don't wait until you're perfect. Just start doing it. Do it at do it in your school district. Ask to do a leadership session for your principal group. Even if it's 5 people that you're in front of, that's going to make you better, and it's just going to grow from there.
You're spot on, and you're 100% correct about being for other people. My daughter just hung a poster in her room of Pitbull. I got a teenage daughter, and on there it says, "Been there, done that." And I like Pitbull, and I know he's a heck of a hard worker, right? Very successful. Yeah. But in order to have been there and done that, you have to go there and do that. So exactly what you said, but that's what popped into my head when I saw the poster. Yeah. Hey, you mentioned Coach K, right? And you're Kyle, but you also have some other K's in your life, and I thought this was pretty interesting. Your children are Carson, Cal, and Claire, and they're all with a K.
And we have a younger one, Kaufman.
You have another one too. I'm sorry.
4, yeah. So we are busy people. My wife's a principal as well. My wife Tara is a principal in North Kansas City. So yeah, we're a very busy family. But no, I came from a family where I have older twin brothers. Their names are Kirk and Kendall, and an older sister named Christy. So we had this K tradition going, and I'm the youngest. So I had kids latest, but before my kids. My one brother had 2 kids, Keegan and Corey, And then the other twin brother, he had his family and his wife had a tradition of J's. So they had to kind of compromise. So I have a niece, Carly, but then I also have a nephews Jadison and Jace, because they had to do K and J together. And then my sister had a daughter, Kylie. And so, it was my wife is Tara and her brother's Tyler. So they kind of had a T thing going on, but we kind of won out, I guess, with the K's.
So what'd your wife say about that?
I don't remember that particular argument very well, but I think she saw that it was we had a lot of K's already going on in the Palmer family, so maybe she was just being nice and she let me keep that going. But yeah, wow. Carson, he's graduating here. He just graduated on Sunday, and we're doing his party here on Saturday, and he's going to KU over in Lawrence.
Of course, he's going to KU.
So wow. Yeah, Claire's our sophomore dancer, and Cal is named after Cal Ripken. Cal Ripken was my kind of boyhood idol growing up, and then Kaufman he's our 6-year-old. So if you're familiar at all with Kansas City and Kaufman, that's a very notorious name. That Ewing Kaufman, founder of the Royals, the Ewing Kaufman Center, the Ewing Kaufman School, Kaufman Foundation. So we kind of fell in love with that name. It was a K, so we went with Kaufman for our baby.
Well, forgive me for leaving him out. Maybe the article I read about you, he wasn't around at that point.
Probably not. No, if you met Kaufman, you would never forget him. So he's got all the spunk in life you could ever possibly want out of a child.
I love it. What a cool tradition, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
That's pretty cool. You have a lifetime here of work in education, Kyle, and you're doing things in your district, outside your district. Where are we going? Where do you see this going next? We just came out of this terrible thing that had a rough effect on us, but, where are we going?
That's a great question, Andrew. I think about that a lot. And in all my travels, I traveled to Texas quite a bit. I traveled to Arkansas, California, out east. It's the same conversation everywhere. Teachers are struggling, teachers are burnt out, the workforce is depleted. People are leaving education for other professions. I'm worried, to be honest. In some way, we've got to try to have a reset of some sort. I don't know what that looks like, but teachers have worked so hard these last 2 years. We've asked them to, on a dime, go to virtual instruction, and then we asked them to go virtual and come back to school, and then go virtual and come back to school, and we asked them to work around people who were sick or not sick and be quarantined and be at home. And then we didn't realize that, after kids being at home for a year or so, they were going to come back to school, hadn't lost a lot of their behavioral skills and expectations. And I think that's probably been about as much a shock as anything is we had kids in second grade who had never been in a school before, for the most part. So it's been tough. And we see that the number of teachers coming into pipeline is dwindling, and there's some worrisome things there. But we've got to somehow rally behind the value of education, because it's obviously crucial for the success of ourselves, for our culture, our world, our everything. So we got to think about ways so we can reimagine maybe the profession, reset in some way to kind of wash all this stuff away and kind of start over a little bit.
And kudos to you for coaching up leaders to be better leaders, right? Better leaders are going to help produce better teachers and better schools, which is going to raise all of that up. So the work you're doing is so important. Kyle, before we get to rapid fire, is there something that I didn't ask you that you wanted to talk about?
No, I just, I appreciate the opportunity to be on here today. I think what you just said, I think we have to pour into each other as well. We need to take care of ourselves, but we need to come at this thing from an angle of we're all here to help each other. We need to get everybody on the same page, stop fighting against each other and advocating for this and that and whatever. It's too hard. We gotta get people on the same page.
Yeah. I saw a quote online the other day. We got to stop worrying about people having thick skin and have bigger hearts.
Oh, that's absolutely. I love that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, All right, Kyle, let's roll. This is rapid fire. These are the quick answers, whatever comes to your mind right off the top. Are you ready?
Okay, ready.
Here we go. Last book you read.
I'll say the Coach K book. I'm about halfway through it, but I'll say the Coach K book. It's phenomenal.
Sounds like he made a little bit of money last year.
Yeah, a little over $12 million. I think he's doing okay.
A couple bucks there. There's a few K's right there. Last movie you saw?
Top Gun. I'm going to go watch the sequel here next weekend. So I wanted to watch the original because it was like 30 years ago. So Top Gun with Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise looks the same, right?
He looks exactly. It's like the movie was made yesterday. You're right.
Couldn't believe it. Your favorite dish?
Probably pizza.
Yeah, you get good pizza out your way?
We do, yeah. If you go to the right place.
Okay.
Pizza or barbecue. You gotta say barbecue being from Kansas City, so
we're going to get to that. What you mentioned a bunch of places. You mentioned that you like to travel. So, give me your top two. Where are your best places you've enjoyed so
far? Maui. My wife and I went there for our 20th wedding anniversary last summer and loved it so much. Taking all the kids back this summer. So Maui, Hawaii, beautiful, beautiful place. And I love the mountains too. So we go to Breckenridge or out to the Denver area quite a bit. So can't go wrong with either one of those places.
Can you drive to Denver from Kansas City? How far is that?
Yeah, it's about 9 hours. It's not too bad.
Okay, that's
9 hours.
Okay. Yeah,
it's a good long day, but it's worth it.
Yeah. We were in Breckenridge there last summer as well. Nice spot. What's you mentioned some blogs in the journal. So what's a journal or a blog you would recommend?
Oh, the John Maxwell blog. He does a podcast every Wednesday. I think they release it. It's about 15, 20 minutes long. There's like a kind of a teaching from him, and then there's a discussion about it with Mark Cole, kind of how it applies to your life. It's something I do every week.
Yeah, he's great stuff. How about a stress reliever?
We have a outdoor fire pit, and we've kind of put a lot in our backyard. We've got a pool now, so I had nothing better than sitting by the fire or sitting in the pool with the kids. It's my favorite time.
Very nice. Yeah, we've had a nice stretch of weather here, and I agree with you on that. Give me two recent victories of yours.
I just think persevering through all this we've had the last couple of years and staying positive and helping see some other great leaders really doing a great job of leading their schools and making huge impacts. And I think just the resiliency of what we've seen with our teachers right now, I just want to celebrate our teachers and what they've done to support kids the last couple of years. Those are my victories.
At 8 a.m. on Saturday morning, I fill in the blank.
I'm focused because that's my Kyle time for the kind of business operation. So whether working on my consulting or the training I got coming up, or trying to somehow kind of build the world I'm trying to create as far as the training and leadership stuff goes. So my early Saturday morning, when everybody's still sleeping, is my time to kind of unwind a little bit and get wrapped up in my world I'm trying to create here.
I hear you on that. Best purchase under $100 that has had a great impact on your life.
I'll say the John Maxwell 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership that I read 25 years ago. It's between that and the Rick DeFore work, throw in Jim Collins, Good to Great book here or there. That is kind of how I think right there. That's me in a nutshell. I
love it. George Brett or Patrick Mahomes?
That's unfair to even put that on record. George Brett represents everything great about Kansas City sports in the past, and Patrick Mahomes represents everything great about Kansas City sports right now. So I gotta say both, but I'm a huge Mahomes fan. I mean, that dude is awesome.
Yeah,
and he is a great a person as he is a football player.
You gave a great answer to that question. that was pretty good. What's your favorite football Sunday tradition in Kansas City?
Oh, we could try to go to about one game a year. So tailgating and with the Chiefs it doesn't get a whole lot better than that. But we always try to have the family together watching the game. So we watch them all. That's for sure.
Yeah, I love the sports there. I love the way they have is the downtown and that whole area and the stadium, and very cool. So if I was going to visit, where are you taking me in your hometown?
When I think of my hometown, I think of the family farm I grew up on. So if I were to, I grew up in a town of about 2,000 people. It was a small rural country town. So if I were to take somebody back to, kind of where I grew up, I'd take them back to the farm I grew up on. And I'm a very proud farm boy. That really instilled in all of us the value of hard work, the value of, loving each other. And because you kind of were it, something had to happen. It was happening with us, or, my grandparents' farm. I learned the value of hard work at a very young age. So that is something that has always carried me through.
Good for you, man. What is one thing you're curious about?
I'm curious about the future of education, and kind of what we were just talking about. I'm curious about what can we do to kind of reset some things with education and get it on a maybe a better, more positive trajectory.
Yeah. Amen to that. Something about Kyle Palmer that people do not know about.
You didn't ask me about my recent movie was Top Gun, and my favorite movie of all time is Lonesome Dove, and that probably is a movie that not many people remember or have ever heard of, but that's my all-time, by far, number one favorite movie of all time. Also, I'm colorblind, which sometimes really interests people, and they ask me about all the different colors I see or don't see. So that's interesting about me.
Give me a 10-second review of Lonesome Dove. I never heard of that.
Two cowboy rangers, Robert Duvall and Tommy Lee Jones, who were famous actors, take a cattle, a big herd of cattle from Texas all the way up through Montana. It's kind of like what Yellowstone was, what Yellowstone is now, kind of 1832, all that stuff is kind of what this was 25, 30 years ago. So just a great, like 6 hour long type of movie.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Lonesome Dove. Kyle, you got the book out, you're consulting, you're going to be doing some more of that. How can people get in touch with you and learn more about you?
I need to work on my website quite yet, but at Dr. Kyle Palmer is my Twitter handle. You can connect with me on that. drkylepalmer@gmail.com is my email. I'd love hearing from people and connect to people. I got people who ask me for resources and different things, or just have questions to run by me. So drkylepalmer@gmail.com. And then again, Twitter's at Dr. Kyle Palmer. So please reach out. I'd love to get a couple books out to those of you in the chat. We just need your name and address, and I'll get that book out to you, and let me know how I can help.
Cool. This has been great, Kyle, and I admire your work looking to help leaders as you're doing. Kyle, I love quotes, and so I'd invite you. Do you have one that we can end with here?
There's a lot of great quotes, but the one I have it on my email signature, and I think of all time is that from John Maxwell is everything rises and falls on leadership. So that's where I stand.
I've heard that before. Everything rises and falls on leadership. This was Dr. Kyle Palmer, show number 207. Dr. Palmer, I appreciate you very much. Stay on the line. Check out his book again, Parentships in a PLC. We're going to sign off here, show number 207. We appreciate you tuning in wherever you are consuming your podcast. And if I can help you in any way, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm at Andrew Murata 21 on Twitter. Keep rolling, everybody, and keep surviving and thriving.